Just want to remind you guys, you can sign up for listener support for this podcast. Just go to the link in the bio. Every little bit helps. We're trying to upgrade the studio, upgrade the cameras, upgrade the guests, upgrade the whole experience. So even a $1 donation goes a long way here. If you don't want to do listener support, you can also go to billypodcast.com and pick up some merch. We got some hoodies right now, and you can find those at billypodcast.com. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. Welcome back to the show. 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 I'm Billy, the host.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Billy, the host. We're joined today by comedian and producer Trent Ludzack.
Hello.
We're in Trent's unnamed studio in beautiful Marietta, Georgia. And our guest today is a stand-up comic. He's toured all over the U.S., and he's going on tour in Europe coming up. Please welcome Gus Horn. Gus Horn, welcome.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you say you've been performing stand-up now for 8 years?
The first open mic I ever did was almost 8 years ago. It was November of 2016. But that first year, I only did 4, and they kept getting worse and worse. And so I didn't do it for like 6 months. I was like, this maybe is not for me. And then the Laughing Skull was offering a class, and I took that class, and that's when I started doing it.
The Skull class with Plug?
No, that was before his time. It was Marshall, the owner, used to teach it, and Ian Aber. Yeah.
Marshall's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian's great too. They got a lot of classes in Atlanta now. You can start being a comic. They kind of open the door. Plug told me he mostly teaches people what not to do in the class.
Yeah. I took his class too just because I wanted to write a new set.
Did they teach you how to find the open mics?
More than I knew before, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the only reason I did. Like that first few months, I only did Laughing Skull because I didn't even know where to go.
Once somebody opens the door to the open mics, you're like, oh, I didn't even know this world existed.
And then you're happy for a little bit, and then you start realizing what open mics are like, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, open mics, man, they have their place, obviously.
Yeah, I mean they're necessary, but a lot of times it drive you home like, what the fuck am I doing?
I've been saying it's just like it's band practice, you know. If you're in a touring band, chances are you practice at least once a week, and it's not even to like get better or I don't know. It's just a maintenance thing of like I have to do this, so that my set stays tight. Whether the practice is good or bad doesn't matter. Just the fact that you got together, all 5 alcoholics or drug addicts, and
you're practicing being together at the same time.
Yeah. That's part of it, man. That's the whole thing. Like, yeah, you learn something each time, for sure, even if it's bad.
Yeah. I did a show with Mellow Black the other day, and he had a car problem for a while, so he was like, I'm not going to take a bus to go to an open mic. And I was like, yeah, because if you bomb at an open mic, you got to wait for a bus, you got to hold yourself from jumping in front of it afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, you got to find the open mics that work for you, right? The ones that you like. Like I'll do McCracken's and stuff, but yeah, I might go check out your open mic, but I'm not going to show up every week for an open mic all the way in like Duluth or something because I'm nowhere near there.
Yeah, my favorite one right now is Freedom because it's like maybe 20-minute ride from my house, which is the closest one.
Yeah.
Usually, even if it's just comics, at least it's a good room for comedy. So
I've been meaning to check that one out. I just have my kid on Wednesdays and like all day. So all the good mics are on Wednesdays right now. Yeah. Alley Stage is on Wednesdays. Haven't been able to check that out.
Yeah.
I've done a few shows at Alley Stage, but not the open mic.
I've done it a couple times. I guess I got unlucky because I've heard really good things, but the couple times I did it was really... I went on really early, so I guess the crowd was still warming up.
Trickling in too, probably. Yeah. Because you ever do McCracken's over here, Mello's mic?
I did it like a few months ago, but I showed up like 6:30 and didn't see the list when it went up, and by the time I signed up, there was like 23 people on it. And
but that's the thing about McCracken's is like sometimes people will trickle in halfway through the night, and the back end of the list will be way better than the beginning.
Yeah, but I bombed really hard, and I was like a 6-hour investment of time to bomb for 4 minutes. So.
True, but that's what the Strand was like, right?
Yeah,
I know you did the Strand quite a few times.
Let me know next time, and you can do my podcast at least between the list and the show.
Sounds good. That day I went because it's kind of far from me. It's like at least an hour drive with like rush hour. So I just decided last minute that one time, but yeah, it's I usually try to do at least 5 times a week, and then Mondays, because there's nothing close to me, I usually, unless there's like a book show, I try to.
You're doing spots 5 nights a week?
I try to, or as much as I can, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, my goal for the last couple of years have been to do 200 shows or sets a year. And last couple of years, I was just like right on the money on 200. I think this year I'm on pace to probably around 250 or so. So, yeah, been
doing the math over here, man. Doing the math. I couldn't tell you how many times, I just I go do open mics when I can, and then I try to just like get as many book shows as possible. Obviously,
me too. I like having a track of like what I did. So like I just have my Google Calendar, and whatever date I did a show, I just put on like the number of like set for the year, and then where the show was at. So
okay, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I never use my calendar either. I'll put something on there and then not even remember I did that.
I used to post it on my Facebook feed, but like just for me to see it. But I just felt like the calendar was easier to find it later if I wanted to.
Yeah, having a calendar definitely helps in all things comedy. I've never been good at calendars. I like just taking each day as it hits me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely focusing on organizing a little bit because I'm going to be out of town from a month from now to the end of the year in Europe doing a bunch of shows.
Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done Europe before, right?
Yeah, I was living there I moved back here in March, but I was living there for the last 2 years. And I did live there before too when I first started comedy. So, yeah, I guess half of my comedy career has been outside of the U.S.
Are you from the U.S.?
I was born here, but I grew up in Brazil.
Okay.
My parents are Brazilian, and so we moved there when I was like a baby, and then we moved back here when I was 12 the first time, and then we went back for a little bit, and then came back to the U.S. for good when I was 16.
Man, so you're just a global kind of guy. Where did you live in Europe?
Vienna, Austria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of comedy in Europe?
In Europe, yeah. In Vienna, when I first moved there in 2018, there was pretty much very little. There was maybe you could get up like once a week. If you did like 6 shows a month, that would be a good month. But I helped a little bit, but some of my friends over there, they did a lot to build the scene. And now, like last year, my friend opened like the first like full-time comedy club in the whole country there.
Springing up scenes.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of your time was spent in Austria?
When I was in Europe, yeah.
Where are you going this time?
Oh, almost. I mean, I can. I'm trying to record because I got like about 20 minutes of Austrian or Vienna material, so I'm gonna try to record like a little. I hate calling it a special because it's all self-produced, but little thing on November 1st, which is my birthday. So I'm gonna do those Austrian jokes, and then I'm gonna be all over like Germany, Netherlands, Austria, Slovakia, Spain, Ireland, Copenhagen, Sweden, and Luxembourg, which I'd never even heard of till a couple months ago. But
Luxembourg?
Yeah.
What's that, Soviet Union?
No, it's a little tiny country between like France and Germany, and I guess maybe Switzerland or in that area there.
Okay. Nobody's got the balls to take that place? No.
It's apparently it's like the richest like per capita country.
Nobody's ever heard of that.
But it's a tiny place. I think it has like maybe I don't want to even guess, but like 200,000 people or something.
Nah, bro, that's on some like Swiss bank account type beat.
Yeah, it's probably a tax haven for sure.
Luxembourg. That's where the Nazis.
How many people? Can you scroll down a little bit?
Cash.
Like on the page.
Population.
Yeah, 600,000 the whole country. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's less than Atlanta. That's less than the drive-through at Cookout.
Yeah. But it's yeah, they also have a full-time comedy club there now. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Nice. In Luxembourg?
yeah. I think it's Luxembourg City is like the
But
the only city. But
let's see. So you lived in Austria where there was like one comedy night a week, and then
well, by the time I left, we had it pretty much every night of the week.
nice,
Yeah.
different bars. Or what?
So
what
now
kind of
there's a
spots?
club that they do it from. It's closed on Monday. It's called the Comedy Pub, but they're open Tuesday through Sunday, and I think there's English shows every night, if not.
The comedy pub.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's 2 rooms, downstairs, upstairs. It's really nice.
Do a lot of people speak English, or is it mostly like
Yeah, pretty much everyone
travelers?
under like 40 pretty much speaks English, and then especially like I was in the capital, Vienna, so it's a very international city. Like if you go out in the country, there's probably less people that speak English, but where I was, it was pretty easy to get by with just English. Yeah.
Do you
I'd
speak
even-
another? You speak Portuguese?
Portuguese, yeah, and
You ever do stand up in Portuguese?
yeah, about 3 years ago, before I moved to Austria, I had quit my last job and I had some downtime before I started working in Austria. So I went to Brazil for like 3 months, and I was probably did about 40 shows or so in those 3 months. And
Nice.
yeah, but it's not. To me, it's way easier to do it in English. It's just more natural, I think. Maybe I don't know because I started. I don't know, but comedy in Brazil is very young. I was just there like 2 weeks ago, but
'Cause I know Juan does the Spanish shows,
Yeah.
and I've seen I think there's probably more Spanish speakers in our scene. So I've seen comics that I felt like did better in Spanish than they did in English
Probably,
at
yeah.
times. Yeah.
I feel more comfortable doing it in English. But I had pretty good sets in Portuguese too. But it's there's a lot of my jokes are like a little bit of wordplay or stuff that can't really translate. So it's a bit of an adjustment.
And then you lived in Philadelphia for a while too.
Yeah, I was working. It was actually New Jersey, but it was across the river from Philly,
Yeah.
so I could see Philly from my window. But yeah, that was a time I tried to forget about.
Like that Futurama episode.
I never watched it.
Oh, there's an episode where he's looking for an apartment, and all the places he looks at are dumps, and then he finds this really nice place. There is like New York City, I think. And then the guy, he's like, "Oh, what's the catch? This place is too perfect." The guy's like, "There's no catch, but we are technically in New Jersey." And then it just cuts to them leaving. Like, man, not a single nice place.
Well, I was in Camden, New Jersey, which used to be the murder capital of the U.S.
Oh,
and I think
nice.
it's still like the lowest income per capita, I think. So there was like a 2-block radius. They have a Rutgers University campus there,
Yeah.
like a off-site campus. So there's like maybe like a 3-4 block area that's decent, like it's okay. But you go like a mile down the street to like the train station, that's like a scene from The Walking Dead. It's crazy.
I feel like you'd be all right if you just wore a suit every day and drove like a Lincoln around.
Well, I drove a truck, and the only reason I moved there was because my job was like 10 minutes down the road, so it was the closest thing to my work.
You could definitely pull off mob guy though, driving around New Jersey.
Maybe. I don't know. The first 6 months I was there, I had a lot of fun, but then the pandemic started, and I just went crazy by myself. And to the first 6 weeks, I left my apartment like twice just to
hold
put
up.
the trash out, and yeah.
Were there any shows that came back out of Philadelphia like during the pandemic? Because like Jimmy Mac's never stopped. Like E. Craig didn't stop a single show.
I got a couple of friends.
Didn't even consider it.
No wonder why. I got a couple of friends who like they tried to do like a show at a off-market strip club right when it started.
Yeah.
And then that got shut down, and I did a show in 2020 in Delaware. There was definitely more stuff in Delaware and New Jersey than in Pennsylvania. They were more strict in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Did a show at an axe throwing place, which they were actively throwing axes like 30 feet away from the stage. So.
Yeah. That's I don't want to do that because you say one thing,
Yeah. They turn around and it's over.
you make one mistake. Yeah. You
What
get
happens
mad.
if somebody laughs when they're like winding back?
It wasn't
You know?
ideal. It wasn't a great setup. But I mean, at that time, I was doing any show I could because,
Right.
you know, I think like 2020 at the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm gonna go as hard as I can in comedy. I'm gonna either go out every night to do shows, and if I can't get on stage, I'm gonna go watch someone.
Yeah.
And I think I did like 60 because I keep track. I did like almost 70 sets by the time COVID started, which was basically one a day for.
Dude, I was on the same mission, man. I just got back from a tour with my band that was a month long, and I was booking shows at a venue. I was like, we're going like full steam ahead, and then the universe was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Or politicians, I guess. I don't know whose fault that was, but
A little bit of everyone, I think. But
yeah, I was very angry. I was like, dude, I was killing it.
Yeah.
And now I have nothing.
yeah, so it was hard because that was like the most socially active I've ever been in my life for like the first 2.5 months, and then nothing for months, and probably ended up doing like maybe.
And then you saw the
15 cents.
pandemic sprout like hundreds of comics too.
Yeah, I came down like I was up there for like 6 weeks, like working from home from my apartment in Jersey. And then I asked, like, hey, you guys think we're going to open the office anytime soon? They're like, probably not for another couple months. So I drove down here, and like in May of 2020, and life was way more normal here than it was there. So
Jimmy Max, let's go.
I didn't do any mics. Did what's his name? Darude had a show out in Villarica.
Hickstown Brewing.
Yeah,
I've done that one many times.
So he booked me in June of 2020, and he trolled us. He was like, guys, the venue is very concerned, so you got to wear a mask the whole time you're inside.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I was like, whatever. It's not ideal, but I'm going to put it
That's
up.
something he would do, too.
Yeah, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going to perform with a mask on, whatever. So I showed up with a mask in Villarica. People like laughing at me like, you fucking pussy.
Yeah, there was a couple of times in Atlanta people were trying to still just keep shows going. It was pretty like lax around here, but
Yeah.
I would show up at the show and they would be like, "Oh, dude, you got to put your mask on, like stay 6 feet or whatever." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, if I'm here, we're all getting it." Like,
They used to have little mic condoms to
We've
try to
already
protect people.
gambled, guys.
yeah, I'm like, either we're doing the show or we're not.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to get people sick, don't do the show.
Yeah.
That's the obvious choice. If you don't give a shit, then stop pretending like you give a shit.
Yeah. Dude, I did a show, I think it was last year in Ireland, in Dublin. And I had like a good chunk about COVID jokes, so like 5 minutes or so. So I started my bit about going like, aren't you guys glad the pandemic's over? And this lady in the crowd goes, it's not over. And I was like, this was like a year ago, so it was clearly like nobody cared anymore. But she's like, it's not over. And I'm like, well, you're crazy for being out here because you're endangering people.
Look at all these people not wearing masks, standing next to each other.
But yeah, I stopped carrying probably around May of 2020. I was like, if I die, I die. Whatever.
Yeah, I had seen other people get it. I did. I tried to like, be polite. I would wear my mask and,
I had it 2 times, COVID.
But what are you going to do, man? At that time, I was like not married. I didn't have a kid. I really didn't give a shit if I lived or died at the time, So what am I supposed to do? Sit in the house all day?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. And many other people in Georgia had the same idea.
Dude, I remember first time going to a restaurant after like 3 months of not being in one, and I was like, people are around. What's going on?
That's the problem when you try to have a pandemic during times where people aren't doing that good in the first place. Like everybody's kind of like struggling with something, and then you try to get everybody to care about each other. It's like these people don't care about themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
How are they supposed to care about someone else?
Dude, I went to. Do you know who Jeff Dye is? Comic.
Yeah.
I went to see him in Atlantic City like a week before everything shut down. And there were already rumors of COVID and stuff. And I was walking through the casino in Atlantic City, and like all like old people with like oxygen tanks and smoking cigarettes. And I'm like, they could get away with getting rid of like half of these people. Not gonna be very missed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jeff Dye's gonna miss him. Spending money at the casino.
It was one of those shows, I think they just papered like the room for the casino people. And
For sure. If
I
you
was probably one of
gamble
the-
enough, you get free tickets
Yeah,
to
I
the
was probably one of
comedy
the
show.
8 people who bought tickets.
What's the secret? Because I know like casinos will give you a hotel room sometimes if you just like hang out and gamble long enough. What's the secret to like not losing more than a hotel room and finessing a hotel room? Do they keep track of how much money you've lost there?
Oh, definitely. But I think it's probably not like the $10 tables. It's probably, if you go in and buy, I don't know, $1,000 worth of chips, they start noticing you or something.
Because a nice hotel room is like $150, right?
They're usually they're cheaper in a casino than they would be in a regular city, I think.
So if you can go to the casino and break even, at least get close to breaking even under $150.
I
then-
doubt those people are getting rooms though.
But that takes time too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. There's a reason they're huge. They're not losing money.
Yeah, you gotta
consistently.
finesse them somehow. Although they might beat you up if you finesse them too. So you're better off just getting a van and sleeping in that.
Yeah.
But a nice hotel room makes a big difference on tour.
Oh, for sure, dude. I had a fun tour last year with it's called Make Austria Laugh. My 3 friends and I, we went to I think 6 cities in 6 days. It was fun, but by the time I got home, I was ready to not. And I think I didn't travel for like 4 months after that. I was like, I need to be down for a while.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you. But I feel like every time I go on the road, I get like, I hit my rhythm right before we're about to go back home.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, man, now I don't want
for
to
sure.
go home because I feel like I'm hitting my stride out here.
Yeah, I remember the last show was definitely the one. It was weird because we had like the first 5 days we had 2 shows per day, and for some reason, same venue, same comedians, same show, pretty much same jokes. One show was always great, and the other show was so. And then the last day we had a bit bigger venue in Vienna, so we only had 1 show, and that was definitely the best show of the tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, as the more we did it, the artist wanted to keep doing it, but the fat guy wanted to lay down for a while.
Yeah, is that like something you thought about with like, because bigger comedians, they're pretty much touring all the time,
Yeah.
flying places. I hate flying personally.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather book a tour where I can rent a van and
yeah. I
drive
mean,
it.
sometimes I don't like to say it out loud too much, but I dream of like being successful and stuff. And like I'm like,
I think
man,
we all do, right? Like that's
Yeah.
how it starts, right?
But like if I had to choose, like if I could pick, like I would like do like a weekend, like Thursday to Sunday, whatever, and then drive to a place like a couple hours away, and then just chill in the city for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then do that for like 4 weeks or so, and then take a week off or something.
Yeah.
That would be pretty.
Yeah.
ideal.
Because I don't know, like somebody who maybe like Bert Kreischer or somebody like that, or even like Matt Rife, they're doing shows like at least 4 or 5 nights a week,
Yeah.
and all in different cities, flying to these places, and that's just like, I have friends who work in touring, like they're roadies or merch guys and stuff like that, and they're just like always on the road.
Yeah.
So I'm like, either unless you live in a place like maybe New York, or I don't even know if Los Angeles is like this, where you can just kind of like work at home as a comic. Like you really have to build something, like get your own shows going,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say traveling, like you pay the ticket, you pay them to travel, they do the show for free, and I think it's pretty
Yeah.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst, man. Because that's what a hotel room, like $150 plus gas getting there. You're already
Yeah.
like, if it's only like 4 hours away, you're pretty much almost $200 in to this show now. So how much more than $200? It's just
Well, that's
some
yeah.
guy who runs a show at a
Yeah.
brewery gonna pay you.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough road, but I guess you gotta do it to get to the point where. I mean, there's the big guys that have like tour buses, right? So
Yeah, once you can sell tickets and you know how many tickets you can sell, it starts being different. Because like Bert Kreischer, Matt Rife, these people are selling like 10,000 tickets
Yeah.
right now per show, so you can afford the bus at that point.
Yeah.
You can work it into the numbers.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people, they like the big ones, like they fly, if they have like, let's say Thursday through Sunday, they fly from wherever they live to where the tour starts on Thursday, do the show, get on the bus, and they just drive the bus everywhere, and then Sunday night just go home or whatever. So.
Yeah, I'm envious of the people like Jacob Jonas is one, like people who just like deck out the van with a bed and all that and hit the road.
You know Hans Kim?
Yeah.
I knew him back. I met him in Philly like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, or 4. But he lived in a van and like he was just going around the country like doing whatever.
That's a smart way to do it, man.
Mic,
just go to different scenes and just like network with everybody around the country. Because at that point, you don't have to rely on Bubba who runs a show down at Hickstown Brewing. You know, like you have Bubba's all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think that's the smartest way to do it. I don't know. Do you think, like, would you rather be in a big scene like New York or be in a spot where you guys had to spring something up like in Austria?
It's hard to say. I've never done comedy in New York, so I'm not. But like from what I hear, it's just I can't imagine it being enjoyable to like having to pay to go on stage and do mics and shit. And
I've done a couple open mics in New York. It basically like you go to a comedy club, they charge you $5 to get on the list, and then because it's an open mic and they could go see a show at the comedy club for $10 later that night, it's only comics in the room, and they're not gonna laugh.
Yeah.
They might laugh at stuff comics laugh at, but that's not really what we're going for, right? With like material.
Yeah. So that's been kind of my goal, is to be able to have a little bit of steam built up before, so that if I go to a place like New York or Austin or something, I don't have to start from the bottom. I can get connected with people that.
I mean, I think the scene is still a good way to get connected, but if you're going to an open mic in New York expecting it to like go well, then you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
You're going to be at band practice with a bunch of other alcoholics and drug addicts, and it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And then I guess you work your way up to shows, but I don't really like that process either of like, this person has to pass me, this person has to decide I'm good or something. It's just stupid. I'd rather have friends somewhere who are running a show and want me there instead of me begging and passing out flyers in Times Square. I'll pass out flyers in Times Square, but don't make it like a fraternity hazing event, right? I would love to pass out flyers on Times Square. I have no problem with that. But if you're like, pass out flyers for 2 weeks and then maybe I'll give you some stage time, I'm going to wipe my ass with all those flyers.
Yeah. I think, it's definitely better when there's like a set out process of like, you sign up, you get a chance to be on stage. If you're good, you get another chance and so on. Like I'm not anywhere close to being anyone, but at least like I feel like the Laughing Skull has a good system of like, you sign up to the mic and whoever signs up gets a spot, right? And it's not like lottery or anything like that. So it might take 3-4 weeks, but
Laughing Skull has its flaws because it is still humans who decide this. But there's no barrier to entry there. It's whoever's out in the Atlanta scene doing really well.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you're funny and you go to a lot of shows and support other comics and do all the things that everybody's supposed to do, then eventually, you get there.
Yeah, but I mean, even like just a mic, like at least you get to be on stage there and you don't have to jump through hoops.
Comedy Clubhouse, the new roast battle.
Yeah.
It's pretty open. If you're not one of the club comics, there's opportunities for you there. You got to give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Have you do you do the punchline, Mike?
I mean, I try to go whenever I'm in town on Sundays, but that's another one of those that like, I've had one of my best sets there back in, I had just started, like I was a year in, so like end of 2018, I like it was right before New Year's.
The punchline is cool, man, but bucket spots.
Yeah.
Like,
so back then it used to be half booked, half buckets. So,
there's a way to fix this. Like, and the half booked is whatever. But like, put a list out. Do it like how Roll Call used to do it. Like, put a list out and say this is the maximum number of people who can sign up.
Yeah.
And then it's all random. Like, it's after whatever 10 comics, nobody else can sign up. Don't let people sign up and then not go on stage, because now I've just wasted 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I've had a lot of times where I showed up at like 8:30, showed up at 9.
Happens to me all the time. I never get drawn out of that bucket.
I go home at like 11. Like, what the fuck?
I just can't do it anymore, man.
Yeah.
I have too much important stuff going on for me to sit around at the club for 4 hours and not do any stage time.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a good club. It's just
it's great.
Yeah, it's just I wish there was more of a straightforward process. But
yeah, just do another open mic a different day or something where it's just sign up, show up, go up.
I like how they call it a festival now too.
Sunday
night festival.
Sunday night comedy festival. Sunday night comedy
go
disaster. I understand the sign up, and I was actually emailing in there to sign up for that mic before the pandemic happened, and I think they tried to go back to it recently, but just like it's one of those things where it was already rough trying to get on there that people just don't.
Yeah, I got lucky one time because the one time I was talking about in 2018, I think if I remember, there was like a Sebastian Maniscalco was supposed to be at the Fox, and I think one of his kids had some health problems, so he like canceled last minute. So there was a bunch of people who just wanted to see a comedy show, so they all went to the Sunday open mic. And it was back when they gave a prize for the best set, and it was like the first time I ever got paid for comedy was winning
$100, right?
50, but
50. Oh man, cheaping out.
Yeah, but it was
you can't call it a comedy festival, and you only gave one guy $50 at the end.
Well, nowadays they don't. I think they only pay the host nowadays. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but back then there was and I wasn't booked. I went for a bucket, and I was the last one pulled. I was about to go home because there's a one left, and then they called my name, and it was probably one of the best sets I had at that time. But
yeah, it's a great room, man. It's just the process that I don't like. That I can't. I swore off bucket spots a while ago. I'll come hang out at the show, but I don't like bucket spots. You know.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to rig the bucket for me, that's cool. But I'm not throwing my name in a bucket. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Just because I don't like that, like, oh, am I going up? Am I not going up? I can't stand that.
It's, especially like, I feel like if I know I'm going up, if I have at least a couple of minutes to prepare, my set's going to be better than if I have 10 seconds from the time I find out I'm going up to.
That sounds hypocritical because I'll go out to like kill Tony and throw my name in the bucket, but I feel like that's at least like.
Oh, it's a big payoff though.
Yeah, the reward is much greater than the
for sure
$50 at the punchline.
Yeah.
Have you ever been out to kill Tony? Because you traveled a lot.
I signed up once when they were in California, and
nice.
I guess now 3 times in Austin, but never got up.
Yeah, it used to be fun. They would go on the road, and I would just go on the road too at that time, and like line up dates in cities where it was going on, and just sign up, and then go do my own show.
Did you ever get on?
No, I never get pulled out of buckets. That's why I swore them off. It never happens either, and I just spend the whole time being like, all right, if I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna do this and this, and then the show ends. I didn't even get pulled.
I got picked for the.
Dude, I've never even been pulled at Comedy Clubhouse.
Really?
Something is wrong with my bucket technique.
Do you fold it like 12 times and just?
Dude, I go to these things. I get all motivated. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna be cynical. I'm gonna go to the show, put my name in the bucket like a good comic should, and then at the end when I don't get pulled, I'm like, I'm never doing a fucking bucket ever again, man.
I got picked for the one time I signed up for Kill Tony. I also signed up for the back then. I don't know if they still do it, but the Comedy Store in LA was the biggest club in the world back then.
Yeah,
their mic was the same night as Kill Tony, so I got on that. But
nice.
It was good that
I mean, that's something right there.
Yeah, but like I had a mix up, so I thought the show started at 8. So like the setup, well, I was like chilling by the patio at like 7:30. And I was like, at like 7:30, I'm like, let me go see if they put the list out to see if I made it. And so I go and I look. My name is like second. I was like, oh shit. And then I go ask the door guy. I was like, hey, my name is on the list. What time should I be here? He's like, oh, get inside. So I walk inside and I'm thinking the show starts at 8, but there's someone on stage already. So I talked to the host. He's like, oh yeah, you're up in 90 seconds. So, and like back then, I don't know how they do it now, but back then they would start seating the room at the same time as the show started. So there's literally 2 people seated by the time I go up. It's a fucking disaster. But
Yeah. Oh man, and they're just talking to him too. Is it right here?
yeah.
That's where you.
And then like, I mean, I was only like a year and a half into comedy back then.
Can
but,
we sit over there?
Yeah,
Actually.
but like they have like these. The room is really dark and they have like these neon signs with like Richard Pryor and Robin Williams and all the legends that played there. And so I was like super nervous and bombing my ass off and just looking at the neon. Like, oh man!
Have you seen the portraits that Andrew George does that are up at the Laughing Skull? Those are amazing.
Yeah.
If you're listening, look up.
They're
I don't even know
literally
how
dope.
you find them. Andrew George art, maybe.
They're literally dope because they're made out of pills.
Yeah. Some are made out of guitar picks I've seen or something like that. Different things. Oh, that Norm Macdonald one. That one's up in the Laughing Skull.
The Ben Brown one.
Eric Andre. Yeah, Ben Brown. Man, it's crazy looking at these and on Google and being like, yeah, I know the guy who did this.
I wonder if you ever gets like questioned like CVS with what are you buying?
I think he gets them online, they're like medical supply companies or whatever. Yeah, but I think the FBI would start looking into me if I did that. But yeah, you can get just capsules on Amazon. I think. Yeah, they're all empty or blank or whatever.
You ever see these portraits made of dice? So try finding one. I bought like a bunch of dice once, tried to put one together, but I was just too lazy. Never got to it.
Oh yeah.
There's a computer program you can like put in and upload like the JPEG picture, and it will like tell you where to put each dice with like number of like which face of the dice to face up.
I got a friend. Look up Alexi Torres. He's a painter, but he does kind of a similar style, but all of his paintings look like they're like woven.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah, this guy's in Atlanta. I've been to his studio before. He's a really nice guy.
That's like this.
But this guy's like the real deal, yeah. I think he sold that Oprah one to Oprah. Like, yeah. People like Oprah will come to him and be like...
Is it a painting though?
Yeah, it's a painting. Oil painting, I think. I don't know anything about paint.
I'm not big into art, but I went to a art museum like in Vienna right before I came back.
That looks like painting.
Yeah. There was a guy, can you look up, I forget, it was like Austrian super realism artist. This guy, I forget his name, but he makes like...
Here's the thing, I am worried about typing in the words Austrian artists right off the bat.
Well, this guy made it, he's successful.
Good Austrian artist.
Type in super realism. Because like they look like pictures.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous Trent typing Austrian artists.
But like the second one.
Like the,
these are paintings?
They look like pictures, but you should get close to it. It's actually a painting, yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
But it wasn't that guy. I forget the name. That one, the first one, Gottfried. Hellman.
I mean, that looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, some of this is in Arabic, man. I'm worried about Trent's.
Yeah, this is under Finish the Stories Googled. So.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
There one time in college, I had a introduction to energy class, and the professor for spring break is like, your assignment for spring break is to make something that explodes, like, so anything
can do.
So I didn't even think about it. Just Google like how to make an explosive at home. And
that's a horrible project.
Yeah. So I had like a little bottle with like aluminum foil and toilet cleaner, I think. And
Anarchist cookbook, man.
Yeah, but I was scared for a while after that Google search. I was like, fuck, I put my own list.
Pipe bomb is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to tell people on the show how to make a bomb, but if you have enough gunpowder and
We're getting weird.
No, we're getting into my realm.
Yeah, this is why I was worried about him looking up Austrian artists. Before stand up, did you ever do any performance stuff in school or?
There was one time I think in 3rd grade. I was on Captain Underpants. We did a little school play, and I did not want to be in my underwear in front of everyone, but I just wanted the attention, I guess. So
did they have you like bared up there?
I put a Speedo
with your underwear on. That's crazy. Yeah. You could not get away with that today.
Yeah, this is like early 2000s in Brazil, so it was fine.
Oh yeah, that's normal beach attire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely couldn't do that today. Probably even in Brazil.
Nah, maybe, I don't know. But I was like, how can I be with the cool kids and not be sitting out? And then they're like, oh, you want to be the chubby?
Was that one of your ways of like assimilating, being funny?
I always tried, but I always had like a lot of swings and misses.
I don't know, man. Like, especially when you're young, it really doesn't matter if you missed. Like,
yeah, I wasn't afraid to like have a big bomb like at school. And stuff,
yeah,
but there were a lot that like I was not by any stretch of the imagination the funniest kid in school. No, like I had this one kid. He would just he'll lean back during it's like a test and be like, "Oh my god, my underwear is coming apart." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then you look over, he'd be like pulling his pubes, and, like, just like threading them.
What? Oh yeah, that kid was a freak. He was.
It's funny though.
And he would just like fart like during a test, so you couldn't say anything because the teacher would get mad. And, like, jeez.
Yeah, I think I found out like early on that if I can make these people laugh, then they'll accept me into their group at least temporarily.
Yeah. I think I was definitely more like that like when I got to like high school and college.
Yeah, like.
But also, I'm usually pretty shy when I first meet people. I gotta take the temperature of like what they're gonna be okay with me saying before I start ripping. So.
Yeah, you gotta push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
I always like when you find somebody who's pretty like open-minded about like saying wild shit, and then you just keep pushing and seeing how far you can get with them.
How cool are you?
Yeah. Are you Austrian artist? Cool. You ever play any instruments or anything like that?
Nah, I think I've tried learning. Well, when I was in 1st grade, they made us in school. They made us play the recorder, and that's a terrible instrument to get kids excited about music, I think.
Yeah, the recorder is dope, but it's hard to explain that to a child.
Yeah, I mean, it's cheap and portable. Yeah, I mean, it's cheap and portable, so it's easy for
I think it's easy for parents to get one.
But it's not like you don't go to a recorder concert ever.
Right.
And then when I was a little later, a
lot of rap songs wouldn't be here without the recorder.
True. Yeah, and then I tried playing drums for a little while, and I never had that in me. And then I took guitar lessons for maybe a year. And then my brother always did the same stuff that I was doing, so he started doing guitar lessons at the same time, and he became a really good guitar player, and I never touched one again. So
that was when you were how old? 16 or so?
I was 16, he was 14. Yeah.
That's about the age guys are like, could I play the guitar?
I was like one of the few friends in my like school that didn't know how to play one, so I was like, I tried to learn a little bit, but I had no talent or patience to.
Did you go to high school in the U.S. or Brazil?
First 2 years in Brazil, and then I moved here when I was 16, so finished it here. A little town called Muhammad, Illinois.
Muhammad, Illinois. Okay.
Yep. A little village, I think, had like
7,000. I heard you can't even look at that place on Google Maps.
They have no pictures here. I don't know why they call it that. I forget.
I know why they call it that.
Yeah. No, it's like a really tiny farm, like redneck kind of place, but it's like a 7,000 people village, and it's like right outside of Urbana, Champaign, Illinois, which is where I went to college. So It's like a sleeper town.
Yeah. I haven't been to Illinois a lot. I've been to like Chicago before.
It's about 2
I've been to
hours
Indiana.
south of Chicago.
2 hours south of Chicago.
2.5, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've been to like Wisconsin. Have you done a lot of cities in the U.S. or mostly East Coast? Because you say you did California, Philadelphia.
Just the one mic in L.A. Did Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Illinois, Jersey, Pennsylvania. Did a show in Missouri once in St. Louis, but just one show, and maybe that Delaware. Delaware is a sad place. So.
Would you ever move somewhere else in the U.S. to do comedy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how it is to live there, but probably Austin is a good place right now. And
Austin's popping for sure.
Nashville.
But what I love about the Southeast is like you rattled off like South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee. There's so many places you can go do stand up. Whereas Austin's kind of smack dab in the middle.
Right
like,
now,
yeah, there's a lot of people there, and there's a great scene going on there and stuff. I went out to Austin like before Rogan's Club opened. They were still at the Vulcan Gas Company or whatever. That spot was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great scene, but it's just there's not a lot of big scenes around it.
Yeah, I've done Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is pretty big.
Dallas is great, yeah. I mean, but still, that's like
Well, the problem is Texas.
as far away as like Charlotte is from here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's like 3 hours.
Like
yeah.
Greenville or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, Texas is like the size of a country, pretty much. So even if you're in state, you can drive 7 hours to do just this. But
Yeah, I mean everything is bigger in Texas, but I guess at my level, I feel like quantity over quality sometimes is right. I still like to go out to Austin because from here you can pretty much do like you skip Alabama because it's too close, but if you can make it all the way to New Orleans before
I did a show. I went. So I
You
drove
get
there.
tired.
I drove to Texas in April. So on the way back, I did a show in Jackson, Mississippi. Cool spot. It was like an open mic. It was kind of also like music night and
yeah.
But like really nice spot.
Yeah, you can find a couple spots on the way to Austin from here, and then leg it from there.
I did Birmingham on the way. I was going to Dallas first, so I did Birmingham. Then I stopped in, and then I went to Dallas, and then I went to Austin, and then on the way back I stopped in Mississippi.
I just love the East Coast because you can do a run like pick the amount of hours you want to drive tonight, and you'll find something, at least an open mic, at the very least, that you can hang out at. It's like, I only want to drive 2 hours tonight. You're in Greenville or Athens or, wherever. And then, I'll drive 4 hours tomorrow night. All right, now you're in Charlotte or Raleigh.
Dude, I drove about 5 hours total on Saturday to get to Savannah, and there were 5 people at the show.
Savannah's a little bit of a hike from here, though.
Yeah, I carpool with Gwen and Mello.
Oh, okay.
I didn't drive, but I drove an hour from my place to downtown.
Yeah, I think Mello at the Wormhole, right?
Yeah.
Mello was telling me about that.
He went last, so at least he had some people that were getting in for the bands. He had probably about 20 people. When I went up, there was 5 people, and like 3 people showed up halfway through. So
Man, just bad luck. Because I've heard good things about
the room is really good. Bro.
the Wormhole as well. Yeah.
Well, I think I don't know. I didn't see this, but I heard they were like turning people away because like they want to buy $15 tickets.
Yeah.
But like at this point, if the room is empty, just let people in for free and at least allow them spend at the bar, But whatever. At least it was good to get a
let some of the regulars in, right? Yeah. That's how I feel. Like a show. I did a show in near Charleston, Summerville, South Carolina, recently, and they just let all the regulars in because they were like, these guys don't care, they're not going to buy a ticket, or they're either not going to buy a ticket or they're just not going to drink here. So can we just let them in? Yeah. And then they were getting a little rowdy, so the bar owner had to go wrangle the regulars right before the show. So a lot of those guys went outside. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if if it's sold out and you're turning people away because they don't have a ticket, that's fine. But
a lot of bars, man, they're not even interested in doing a show sometimes because they don't. They're like, oh, our regulars aren't gonna pay a cover to come in here. Yeah. It's like, well, you know who they are. Just let them in. I don't care.
Yeah, that's how sad comedy is sometimes. It's like you should go to a bar like, what's your slowest night? Let me come provide entertainment for free. And
all of them.
Sometimes they're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, like, nah, we'd rather smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, we'd rather not make any money than have you guys here.
That's how I feel sometimes. The bars get so set into their clientele or whatever. Or when the bartender just shuts you down, like, you hang out there a few times and you're like, hey, does the owner ever come in here or whatever? Like, oh, yeah, sometimes. Like, well, I do comedy shows. Like, can you give him my card? They're like, yeah. You know they're not going to give it to him.
Yeah.
Get the owner's card.
Yeah, I guess that's probably a better way to do it. But, yeah, like, I don't know. That's the way to get a show right is just start hanging out at a place long enough and talk to the owner.
In Philly when I lived there. But it only lasted like 4 weeks before the pandemic shut it down. But it's a good little room upstairs at a place called the 700. And, I was trying to get comics to come in, but I didn't want to force anyone to drink. So I was like, you get 4 minutes. If you buy one drink, you get 5. If you buy 2, you get 6. And
yeah, okay.
That was the cutoff. But
yeah, I think that's reasonable. Like, you have to... Some of the mics in Atlanta, you don't pay to play, but you have to just buy something from the bar or whatever. It's like...
I mean, it's... You want to help the business.
I'm sober from alcohol, and I said last night, like, being... like clean of alcohol is a good way to get a bartender who doesn't know you to hate you and a bartender who does know you to not get annoyed when you don't drink anything at the bar.
Yeah, I didn't drink for 5 months up until like a month ago.
Once I've been going to a mic long enough and the bartender knows me and knows I don't drink, they're just like, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. I'm like, I haven't spent a dime here in over a year.
I try, even if I get like a Diet Coke, I usually try to tip them a couple bucks just to...
Yeah, I'll tip $1 on water and stuff like that. But when you ask a bartender for water, especially like in Atlanta, they just don't even want to get it. Sometimes they just don't even bother.
Well, Limerick has a nasty ass cooler back there.
Yeah, I stopped drinking out of one of those coolers because I got the ick one time from a cup of water. I was like, this is dirty as hell.
Dude, one time when I was in high school, I was in a soccer team and we had like this little garage where we kept the equipment. And we found this like Gatorade, I think it was Gatorade, but it was a cooler that was there from the previous season. Nobody had touched it for a year. And like spent the whole summer there. And then we got the freshman like, hey man, you want some water? Just drink this. And the guy drinks this year-old hot pissy Gatorade.
One time I went to play paintball with my friends and they had a cooler that collected the rainwater from the gutter. And I'd been playing all day. I didn't bring any water with me. No. I didn't have any money to buy water. I was like, I'm going to drink some of that gutter water. Dude. This is when I was still getting drunk a lot too, so I didn't give a shit. So, yeah, I drank it.
Damn.
And even the guys that worked there were like, dude, that's for like cleaning the paint off of you. Like, do not drink that. I was like, are you going to kick me out if I drink it? Like, technically, no, but we are going to look down on you.
Do you watch Kill Tony?
Sometimes, not all the time. I just think it's a good opportunity, you know. There's things I like about it, things I don't. I think Tony's a little bit, he's a character. He's a big personality.
Yeah, I was just, you said about drinking the rainwater. There was a guy a couple of months back, he had a kidney stone that he passed. He brought it on a little container, and then Louis J. Gomez ate it on stage.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, I didn't watch that one. Yeah. But yeah, I like. I think Tony's a really nice guy. I just sometimes I don't like the character that he plays.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Reddit.
You gotta prove your humanity if you want to want some money to keep.
When you talk to him outside of a show, he's a really down to earth, nice guy. He's never been a dick to anyone I've seen. Tries to help people.
I got to hang out with him. I've opened for Russell Peters before, so I was at the comedy mothership when he was there last year. So I was in the green room, and then Tony was there, so I hung out with him for a little bit.
So you got to do the mothership with him?
I didn't perform, but I was just hanging out in the green room and stuff.
That's cool. I haven't even been in that spot because, like I said, the last time I went out there was before it opened.
Yeah, I was there like the first month.
I don't even want to watch this. Why are you even pulling it? Yeah, all right, I'll watch it. Fine, I'll drink the rainwater. I'll watch it.
It's good.
For the Oh, dude, why would you even bring that? Hell no.
Oh.
No one even asked him to do that.
Nope.
That's just a sick person right there.
It wasn't even a dare.
It's just funny. Yeah.
That's so messed up, dude.
Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
It's pretty funny, though.
It is funny. Yeah, okay. I did not watch that one. Thank God I didn't. But now I've seen it, and I can't unsee it.
That's true.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming through it. At the end, I usually try to make some time if you have anything you want to promote, or it could be Instagram, YouTube, a video, a show.
I've had a lot of ideas for shows and videos, and then never got off the ground. So I try to post on Instagram somewhat regularly. Gus Horn Comic. I don't know if you have any listeners in Europe, but I'm going to be all over Europe in the coming months.
We got a couple, man, if Spotify analytics are telling the truth.
So, yeah, check out my Instagram. There's a link tree on my bio, and that's going to have all the shows I'm going to be on.
Sweet.
It's about 2.5 months worth of shows. And
and you're on the Limerick main show tonight.
Limerick tonight. I'm going to do, the Meadery on 27th. What is it called? Peach
Pit. Kenny
Pit
Smallhorn.
Comedy. Yeah. What is it called? The Monk's Meadery in Atlanta, Georgia, 27th. I'm going to be in Zadie's, Nashville on the 30th. And I'm going to be at the Greenville Comedy Zone with TJ Miller on the 2nd of October.
Nice.
Let's go. Gus Horn, thank you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Peace, y'all. Go to PowerPC in Marietta, Georgia for all your home, student, and small business computer needs. They got everything from refurbished laptops, refurbished desktops, gaming PCs, and even podcast production PCs like the one we're using here in Trent's unnamed studio. So if you need a new PC or a repair on your laptop or desktop, go to PowerPC in Marietta, Georgia. That's PowerPCGA.com.